Hello and welcome to another episode of Train Sim World 2, where I'm doing my best to drive virtual locomotives without causing major disaster. Or do I? Anyway, before we begin today's episode, I would like to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already, and use that bell to make sure you won't miss out on any content from me. I would also like to encourage you to join my Discord server, where you can interact with me and other Train Sim World fans, talk about the game in general, share some of your cool skins or adventures along various different routes that are present in the game. You can also discuss various different DLCs or talk about other train games that you might want to play. So there is a lot of things to find on my Discord server, a lot of new friends to meet. So yeah, go to the description down below the video. You can find the link there. Right, guys, it's been a while since I recorded the previous episode. A lot of things happened, some of which, well, most of which at this point in time at least, that I can't yet discuss. So, to keep things short, for a while I wasn't able to record any videos. My apologies for that. It was, well, those were things outside of my powers to control, or outside of my control, unfortunately. And let's keep it short. I temporarily lost access to my actual PC that I normally use for recording. So unfortunately, I also lost my save games. It doesn't change the content that I will create. It doesn't change the quality of the content. But definitely it puts a dent into my upload schedule. So my sincere apologies for that. I know that some of you might have been waiting for the next video about Train Sim World 2. Well, those things happen. I'm not sure how often, especially when it comes to content creators, but yeah, those things eventually happen. I was aware that this might eventually happen to me at some point, but I'm back. I can record again. So, we shall continue our journey along Schnellfahrstrecke Köln. That's one of the routes included in base game or base version of Train Sim World 2. So if you just buy it, you don't need any DLCs to actually play the scenarios that I'm playing right now. So, in the previous episode, we've been going with a scenario called ICE to meet you. And today we shall continue with the next scenario on the journey, which is called ICE and Rain. Let me just switch the game window. There we go. As you can see, I got no save games. I pretty much just finished ICE to meet you. Just to get myself going, just to remind myself about the controls of IC3M unit. And today, well, we will carry on with the next scenario on the list. So, without any further ado, let's jump in and let's see what this scenario has to offer. Well, I'm gonna tell you what it has to offer. It's gonna be rainy. And I'm not gonna lie. The train is very useful. For two reasons. It's really hot day in UK today. It's one of those days when the heat wave hits. So yeah, definitely I do appreciate that. That's as much of a rain that I can expect. Okay, SIFA and all that stuff is turned on. AFB, let's set it up. Okay. Okay. That is set. And now we can get moving. Perfect. Turn on the cab light. And there we go. We are on the move. Let's confirm the SIFA. Right, so we are heading to Aachen. As you can see, yeah, the weather is not the best, at least in the game. It is, well, overly the best in reality. I can tell you, it's really hot in here. Like, it's unbelievably hot. And because I'm recording, I had to turn off my fan that is normally cooling me, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me talking. I don't know if that's good or bad. But yeah, your experiences wouldn't be as great if I would keep my fan on. So I eventually won't do that. I won't turn on my fan. I will have to survive that terrible heat that is currently in my house, at least until we reach Aachen. Right, so we just passed 80 km/h speed limit. I need to wait for a minute, or yeah, definitely a little bit longer before I will increase cruise control. Okay, I think that's enough of waiting, so let's set cruise control to actually get me faster. I can put the accelerator all the way forward, because since I engaged cruise control, it is taking control, well, it is effectively taking control of how fast the train will go. We are now passing LZB sign, which means that, yep, there we go, that bell informs us that LZB is now engaged. And basically all I have to do at this point is to push cruise control all the way forward. As you can see, it's all the way forward, and it's LZB that takes control of my speed. It will increase it as long as the speed limit will increase, and it will decrease it as long as the speed limit will decrease. It won't last forever. This route only has, can't remember, about 30 kilometers worth of LZB section. And then unfortunately I will have to take manual control of the cruise control and control it myself. The fact that I'm using LZB and PZB doesn't mean that I have to completely let it go. I still have to confirm SIFA that you can hear every now and then, and I still have to confirm signals with PZB. So every time I'm going past like a yellow signal or a speed limit restriction, I still have to press page down to confirm it on PZB, otherwise the train will be brought to a complete stop. So right now I'm passing yellow signal. I had to confirm it, even though LZB is taking control of everything, so it will make sure that I'm at the right speed at the right place. Obviously SIFA kicks in, and for now I can just relax and, well, take minimal control of the train. it doesn't mean I have to let it go. There we go, that's another green signal, so we can go all the way forwards. Zifa is still off. That's this small light at the bottom of the screen. Let me just focus my screen on. As you can see, it turned off as soon as I confirmed it. And that's basically it. The biggest attraction of this scenario is rain. Obviously it changes how the train will react to braking and such. But as long as you take careful control of your unit, you shouldn't have too much problem driving this train, even while using PZB, LZB and Zifa. Obviously those three systems add a lot of depth into gameplay, especially on this route, which many of you may consider boring. And yes, if you don't turn those systems on, this route is terribly boring. It's like, it's unbelievably boring, because that's a self-driving train, effectively. Like, you don't have to do anything, yeah, literally. I can completely release control, and at least until I get to LZB end zone, which will happen in probably about 25 kilometers, I don't have to worry about it. Like, there's nothing I have to do. Maybe observe the signals, yes, because I still need to confirm them, as I mentioned before, and observe that Zifa light when it turns on, so I don't have to listen to that yelling lady telling me, yeah, confirm Zifa or I will bring your train to a stop. So yeah, that's basically how this scenario goes. For now, you can just sit down and relax, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the views as much as you can see, because of the weather. And the weather is greatly reducing my visibility, as you can see, which on a fast train like this is probably not the best idea to drive too fast. However, another interesting functionality of LZB is that bar graph in the middle. There we go, that's the one. It basically tells you how far is the next signal that shows any sort of speed limit. So from every now and then it is turning on and off. As you can see, LZB is keeping my train at around 170, 180 kilometers per hour. That's probably because there is a Talent 2 right in front of us, and obviously since that train has much greater speed limits, it can go up to 160 kilometers per hour. My ICE 3M that can easily reach 250 is way too fast for it. Right now LZB again set my speed limit to 250 kilometers per hour. If I'm lucky, that Talent 2 just got onto a platform and it's now gonna wait for me to pass. That would be the most logical explanation. However, things might change. Things might easily change. I'm not sure how the traffic is organized along this railway. We still got at least 4, perhaps 5 kilometers until we reach the next station. It's not gonna take long, providing that we are moving at 210 kilometers per hour. It shouldn't take us that long to reach the next platform. But if we are lucky, we should see, yeah, there she is. That's the Talent 2 that was right in front of us. It's now waiting at the platform. So since we got that obstacle out of our way, we will now be able to travel at maximum allowed speed. And that is something I've been waiting for, and probably most of you were waiting for. Right now there is nothing restricting our speed. The track should be clear right in front of us. So all I have to do is to make sure that I do the right things at the right time, and I will get that train all the way to Aachen. Just perfect, just look at it. It's raining and I can still travel at 250 kilometers per hour. That is just great. On top of that, starting with a train in front of you, especially the slower, especially slower unit, is actually a good tip for anyone who is struggling with this scenario. If you struggle to prepare your train on time within that first minute or two that you get when you start this scenario, you don't really have to be worried about that, because since there is a slower unit in front of you, your train will easily catch up. And it's only at this point that you will be able to reach a full speed, and not reaching a full speed at this point will eventually impact your time-keeping abilities. Until we reached the previous station, which was Horen, I think, you don't really have to worry about the slight delay of pulling from the initial station. So if you depart, let's say, a minute past 4 p.m, it shouldn't make any difference. Anyway, we can now carry on pretty much at a full speed. The next speed limit restriction is 6.5 kilometers away from us. It is going down pretty fast. LZB should start to slow us down really soon. And also soon I should get a sound signal that will inform me that LZB zone is about to end. There also should be a sign next to the tracks, if I can actually spot it at that speed. There we go. So, we are approaching 80 kilometers per hour speed limit restriction. So I will have to manually reduce the cruise control. As you can see, LZB started to slow us down. Probably, yeah, shortly before Duran, we will have to... Oh, okay, the speed limit restriction has been lifted. So there is nothing in front of us anymore. Is it? Oh no, we just went under 4 kilometers from the next speed limit restriction. I have to get ready. I'm gonna turn cruise control down a little bit. Oh, that is a bit too low. Let's increase it just slightly. Yeah, there we go. Let's slow us down. Perfect. Okay. That's another speed limit restriction. I need to keep slowing down. LZB is about to end. We are being sent on a different track for some reason. Perfect. That's another yellow signal. We need to confirm it. Zifa again. So now we are manually controlling our train. We have to go via Duren. For some reason we've been sent to this track. Perhaps something happened on our normal track. We will have to deal with it. At this point we can travel at 60 kilometers per hour. I'm not sure how long we will have to keep it up. The speed limit might change or not until I get a confirmation that the tracks ahead are clear. I will have to carry on with what I got. Okay, Stolberg Rain. That's the 60 kilometers per hour speed limit. So I still have to carry on at my current speed. So for now, all I have to do is to confirm Zifa. Okay, we are going back to normal speed. I will be able to increase the speed to 160 in just a few hundred yards or meters. Let's get to another board. Okay, I think that's the right spot. Let's confirm Zifa. Okay, that's 160. We just passed 40 kilometer mark on the track. Okay. Zifa is confirmed. We should now be okay. We got much more control over our train. Obviously, we need to also make sure to control our brakes at the right times. LZB is officially turned off. And the PZB is the only safety system that we are using at the moment. We are also traveling at 150 kilometers per hour. Might be a little bit low. We'll see. Oh, I see. There we go. We have to reset. Oh, I see. 160 is the most I can go without LZB. So the train won't go any faster. Eventually. I just hope that I haven't missed any sign with the speed limit restriction. That would be pretty bad and it would affect my final score. But that's something I'm consciously risking. Most likely we can travel at 160 in this section, if I remember it correctly. But yeah, getting off LZB is sometimes a bit tricky. It's best to reset your controls, it's best to reset your PZB and throttle. But when you get that, as you can see, you got full control over your train. Okay, Zifa again. Now I have to observe the signals, because obviously if the speed limits will change, I better know about it. I don't expect massive speed limit changes, at least not just yet, but there will be some. For now my biggest issue is Zifa. We still got about 10 kilometers to go before we reach our next checkpoint, which is Stolberg. Okay, that speed limit applied for junction that we've been going through. It was 100 km/h junction. And for now we should be okay. Again, Zifa is yelling at me. The next speed limit restriction should be 120 if I remember correctly. But driving on a memory is not a good thing. I never recommend that, especially on German railways. It is constructed so that it's the signals and signs that will eventually guide you through that route properly. Driving on a memory like you sometimes do on American railways is not advisable, especially when you are driving high-speed train. You know, doing 160 km/h and getting into some unexpected situation because you were trying to drive using your memory. Yeah, that's asking itself for a massive accident. So that's why you got so complex signaling and sign system. It is to keep constant control over what is happening on the rails. There are no loose ends, no gaps, as opposed to American railways. There we go, that's another speed limit restriction. I'm gonna just increase it slightly. Hopefully I'm gonna make it before the actual speed limit kicks in. I'm still doing 130, the train is still slowing down. Okay, I think I'm at the right speed. Speed limit should go down to 110 really soon. So I might in fact go ahead and slow us down even further. Not sure if I should do that. I'm not sure if I'm speeding now or not. I've been so focused on the dials that I probably missed the sign, or I'm traveling at the right speed and everything is alright. I mean, if I would be speeding, then... Oh, there we go. That was the speed limit restriction. So the new speed limit is 110. Okay, perfect. just perfect. We need to keep an eye on the signals right now. Obviously Zifa will keep us distracted from watching on the rail. That's, well, approaching Aachen is that crucial point. We are traveling at a perfect speed, 110 kilometers per hour, so there's nothing to worry about. It's been about 25 minutes since we began our journey. The speed is just perfect. Zifa is obviously yelling at me. Just as it's supposed to go. Right. So we are now passing Stolberg. Speed limit should increase really soon, if I remember the tracks correctly. You will eventually start to remember things. But you should keep an eye on the signals. And that is the crucial point right now. We are approaching Aachen. It's gonna... Well, we should arrive in about 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, 9 minutes. But that's the section of the tracks where speed limits will start changing. So we should soon get into 120 km per hour zone, or 140. Can't remember exactly. Oh, that's Zifa again. So that's the point where we can speed up temporarily. And then obviously as we approach Aachen, the speed limits will go down and we will have to start to slow the train down. And the thing is, as soon as speed limits will go down below 100 kilometers per hour, or below 80 kilometers per hour, we will have to keep braking a little bit harsher than we normally do. So you can't let PZB do the job, because if you want fulfill that 22-23 seconds mark that you are required to in order to properly operate with a PZB, you will end up bringing your train into a complete stop. Right, I'm not sure. I think that's 120 km per hour zone already, and I might have missed a sign. But I don't want to take that risk. We should be alright when it comes to time anyway. So I'll probably keep it up. Yeah, I most likely missed that sign. That's how easy it is. As you are watching the video, you are not focusing your eyes in the same areas as I do. So sometimes you will see me missing a sign, which is probable, especially when you are driving high-speed train. But at this point, I could probably go at 120. I'm fairly sure I can. But I don't want to take that risk. Yeah, we still got some distance, 4 kilometers until we reach Aachen. Yeah, okay, there is no need to speed up. I won't be doing that. 110 is a safe speed. Oh. Yeah, so the speed limit is slowly going down to 120. I'm doing 110, so there is no need to worry about it. We still got 5 minutes to go, so I believe we might encounter another signal really soon. Yeah, there is another signal. I will start slowing down to 80. Oh, there we go. The speed limit is going down to 100. I will make 2 confirmations just to make sure that the electromagnet was confirmed. We are approaching another speed limit restriction. Oh no, that's another confirmation that we are approaching 100. We still have to confirm it, even though we are traveling way below that. We got 1.8 kilometers to go. The next speed limit restriction will be 70, so I still have to slow down a bit. We are currently in a 100 km per hour zone. Okay, Zifa is confirmed. We are traveling at the right speed, slightly slower than we are supposed to. But we should be still alright when it comes to the times. We were slightly ahead of time, in fact. So that's another 70 km per hour zone. We have to confirm that one. Okay, this one is confirmed. And now the speed limit will go down to 40. So we are oops, I failed to confirm Sifa on time, and it was starting to slow my train down. But eventually it brought us down to 40 kilometers per hour, which is pretty good. We are 500 meters away from the end of our platform, and we are 4 minutes ahead of time. That's 40 kilometer per hour zone. Okay, that's 40 kilometer per hour speed limit. Zifa was confirmed. Okay, we are good. We are good. We got 300 meters to go. I'm not sure what's the correct stopping procedure, if you should use PZB or not. But we can easily use PZB to stop ourselves or slow ourselves down. Obviously, we still got 150 meters. I can bring us to a safe and a complete stop using PZB. Okay, slightly too far. I probably overshot a little bit. Let me just have a look at this. Yeah, I was supposed to stop at that H mark. I just slightly overshot. Well, stopping accuracy is something that I have to work on. But eventually, we have reached our destination. Let me just catch a nice shot. Perfect. We can now close the doors. Okay, doors are now closing. And all we have to do is to wait for another 2.5 minutes. We are ahead of time, which is good. Doors are now, I think when you close them as a driver, the passengers are still allowed to open them using the buttons. But I would have to be corrected by someone who actually drove one of those trains in real life. But I think that's how it works. So even if the train pulls in ahead of time, the driver is required to keep them open for a specified time limit. And then probably you are looking at passengers operating the doors if need be, if the train is required to stop for a little bit longer. That's the end of our train. Oh wow, that looks really nice. Well, at least the end of the train is fully hidden under the roof, so it's only the passengers in the first car that is supposed to be a first class that will be exposed to the rain. Oh, poor bastards. They will have to go all the way under the roof. So I guess the intention of the first class is to provide that extra comfort to the passengers, yeah, by stopping at the right spot. Well, if the right spot means you are exposed to the rain, that's not a comfort, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think that's the comfort you are paying for. You know, you will get a free shower at the cost of DB rail. Okay, thank you for completing this run. Let's see how you performed. I believe we did really well. We were slightly too slow at the end of our journey, but it still brought us to the right place at the right time. As you can see, yeah, I missed that sign. I missed the information when we can actually speed up. I didn't get my train to 140. So eventually it saved me a lot of hassle at the end. And then according to the graph, yeah, we smoothly transitioned to the right speed without any issues, without any PZB warnings, apart from that small bump in here when SIFA kicked in temporarily and started to slow my train down. Initial part of the journey, as you can see, we were traveling way below the speed limit, mostly because of that Talent 2 that was right in front of us. And then starting from that station that we passed, the train was able to reach full 250 kilometers per hour, then smoothly slowed us down right before another speed limit restriction that was I think 120. Yeah, something like that. We kept on traveling at that 80 kilometer. Oh yeah, that was 80. Then we moved up to 160 with a small bump somewhere in the middle. I can't remember what happened there. I think, oh yeah, it was me messing with PZB. And then we smoothly got into 160. We managed to almost perfectly slow down to 120. As you can see, that tiny little bump on the graph shows that we were slightly too slow. I should have started to slow down a little bit sooner, or perhaps set the PZB or cruise control a little bit lower to bring the train a little bit lower, and then increase the speed to desired 120. It's not a big deal because soon after we got a sign that informs us we can travel only at 110. We traveled at 110 for a little bit too long, and here we are. It's still a gold medal. Perhaps, yeah, that's definitely not a perfect score. I believe that the perfect score would be closer to 9,500, perhaps 10,000. But, well, I'll leave it to you. You guys can eventually get your own scores now that you've seen how this scenario goes without any UI elements. It should be deadly easy. There's not that many controls. The most that you need to get used to is operating PZB and LZB. Those two systems are basically helping you to drive this train safely. ICE 3M is deadly easy when it comes to operating PZB. Talent 2, yeah, it requires a little bit of talent. Mostly because the cruise control is being set differently. You have to basically turn the knob and hold it for a second for it to kick into a next level. So imagine setting up, let's say 160 kilometers per hour speed limit. It takes a while to slow down. It takes a while to set it up lower. And every time you engage actual brakes, you have to reset the cruise control, which is a little bit pain in the ass. But other than that, yeah, Talent 2 is really fun to drive, especially when you drive it along normal routes, and you have to make those stops. There is quite a lot of operations to do. It's much more fun and engaging. ICE 3M is pretty much straightforward to drive from one end of the route to another. Too bad that Dovetail didn't make this route, let's say, to contain like 3 or 4 main stations. That would make it, first of all, much longer, but second of all, it would allow the players to actually use ICE 3M properly, make a few stops. That would be much more entertaining if you would have to stop, let's say, at Aachen and then carry on to another stop, stop at the next stop, and then, let's say, do 2 or 3 stops. That would make it much more entertaining. But obviously building such a long route with such a high level of detail, it would take them ages. But I would really like to see such DLC. It is a little bit disappointing to see high-speed rail that has 60-kilometer route. Like if that route would be like 180 kilometers, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Like, I would love it. Yeah, and driving a Talent 2 along this route, if you would take a local service or a standard passenger service with the normal speeds, wow, driving from one end to another, that would take a good 2 hours, I believe. So that would also be fun. The problem is, yeah, performance issues. So many players wouldn't be able to actually play it, especially with that level of detail. And on top of that, yeah, Dovetail would probably spend like 2-3 years building a single route. And they would also need to test it, sort it out. And you can see what they made with current routes. Like, there are gaps in testing, definitely, or there are some gaps in terms of fixing issues. But, well, you've heard my criticism before. You know what my opinions are, especially about, let's say, tutorials. They are not as comprehensive as they should be. But, well, eventually you can do your own research, and sooner or later you will find out. But sometimes it's very frustrating when you start a new scenario and you get your ass kicked by not knowing things that you should be informed about. It would be great if tutorial would inform you about specific things or how to use different systems. And then when the game actually throws you onto those systems where you have to bring them to a proper use, if you forget how to use them, or if you are not aware that you can use them slightly different or be a little bit more creative with them, well, that's your fault, yeah? But the game doesn't even inform you about specific things, and that's a shame. Anyway, it was not a case in this scenario. Well, maybe apart from using safety systems, the game never informs you that they are even installed on board. But, well, or the game informs you about them. Can't remember. No, I don't think the game might mention that they are there, but they are disabled by default, which is another shame. There could be at least an option setting to let the player decide, okay, I want to play in easy mode, disable that stuff, or I want to play in realistic mode. So whenever you board a train, usually those systems are currently on, especially providing where we started. We started already being pulled into the platform, and all we had to do is to open the doors for the passengers. So at this point, a driver would have engaged those systems. And the rest of the train would be turned on. You wouldn't have to prepare the train for drive. That would never happen. If Dovetail wants to do such thing, I think it would be better to start from a siding where the train is being stored or where the driver is taking over. Even if the new driver is taking over, the train would probably be already set up. He would have to just sign a few documents and confirm the train's state and eventually adjust a few things for himself. But yeah, most of the systems, including wipers, would be turned on at this point. Anyway, I will let you go right now. Enough of my moaning, enough of my commentary. You've seen the scenario. So, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you disliked it, and give that thumbs down. And, well, I strongly encourage you to leave a comment down below the video. Subscribe. And, obviously, turn on the bell if you don't want to miss any content from me. And finally, well, jump on my Discord server. Link is in the description down below the video. Have a good day, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye-bye.